Well, hello.
Hello.
Another episode of the A Conversation to Create the Future. And today we have episode 21 of the second season. And we still continue with the second season. So today we will talk about as a pioneer, Grant Phyper, and myself, Arjan Visser, as the futurist, we will talk about pioneering as part of being an entrepreneur, a leader, a creative. And Grant, I'm really happy to see you. It's been a while. We had our last conversation, so it's really interesting actually. Just find out like what's different in our worlds. Like we don't live that far apart, but at the other end, it's a total different society. And so, how is it at your end as a pioneer?
Um, well, look, I think if you go by what is coming out of the news at the moment, all around COVID and the government here not ruling out a winter lockdown, it could it could send you spiraling to a place of, well, there's no point in pushing on. There's no point in starting anything. There's no point in seeing things materialize until we know how the land lies come November, end of October, beginning of November, because it could shut down an awful lot, whether that's retail business, whether that's business in general, and whether it's going to impact new ideas that people have been generating to forge ahead with regards to their businesses or community projects or whatever. So I think there is a tendency to feel that, well, there's no point. Let's wait until we ride this out. Let's wait until the early year before we put our plans on hold. But I think, one thing I've learned is that you can't put anything on hold. You cannot wait until tomorrow to start something. It has to be done now. When you've got the impetus, when you've got the energy, when you've got the ideas, when you've got the forward momentum, you keep pushing on and you do it and you go for it, and not put things off until tomorrow. And I think it was a big lesson for me this week. And I do really feel firmly that if we are going to birth something, if we have something that we are, pregnant with, that we're about to birth, that we have everything planned, everything set up, everything in its rightful place, that we can move forward, then we do that. And we don't worry about what's going on over here. We don't worry about what's coming out of government, what's coming out of the news. If we allow that to dictate our steps that we're going to make, then we're going to be perpetually in fear, and that's going to restrict, and that's going to prevent, and that's going to prohibit us moving forward. So yeah, I think for me, it's keep moving on, keep pushing on with your plans, and don't allow negative voices, don't allow the forces that you have no control over to prevent you and stop you from pushing on. Does that make sense?
To me, it does definitely. Like just to phrase it in different words, like this has been a period, like let's say 2 years, a year and a half, but maybe a bit longer for a few of us, that we actually have been delaying and outsourcing decision making to maybe to government, maybe to institutions, um, and in a sense, just like as a basic principle, I cannot outsource my own leadership, my
Mm.
ownership, my decision making, my responsibilities. But the whole world puts us on the spot to actually outsource the few things that uh, are actually our own job, and that's urgency that's currently out there, that huge pressure of um, topics like social responsibility, human rights. I'm not saying that there are not topics, but I'm actually saying they are not the topic. I think the topic is somewhere in the middle, and I call it like human responsibility. Like we as an individual have a unique voice, have unique value, We have our own inner voice, our own inner source, our own motivation. And actually, that should be leading when we talk about our own future. There
Yeah.
is no corporate future that it has is meeting our personal needs. If we go for a corporate future, then actually it will look like that someone else's needs are met, someone else's gain is the center point, but not ours. Not, I would nearly say not yours and mine, because that word of ours and we is such a nasty word, because actually you have a purpose, I have a purpose, maybe we share purpose, but it always comes back to, are you pioneering the way that you should go? Are you taking your life in your own hands by knowing what you want and what you don't want? Can you resist unhealthy peer pressure? And can you be inspired by healthy peer pressure? And we see on a global scale that a lot of things are happening behind the scene that are using the situation to make some more, I would nearly call it centralized decisions, which even makes it harder for us to start living our own life.
Mm.
Looking to being a pioneer, I think that's an essential thing. You go a path that no one has gone before. You're pioneering something new, which means you need to have the space, the freedom to make the decisions.
Yeah. I mean, we've spoken a few times about the good that can come out of chaos, and I think this is the right time to push on with innovation and creativity, and not to be dwarfed in the vision that you have. That you've come to that place, you've arrived at that place of, this is the thing I want to start, this is the thing I want to produce, this is what I've designed, and I'm going to run with it, I'm going to push it. And we can all so often talk ourselves out of it because of, as you say, negative comments from certain spheres around us, from people groups or close friends or family, that will say, no, I don't think it's the right time, actually I don't see you doing that. And we become powerless when actually we should be powerful. We are powerful people. We have that might in us. As you say, we have a voice. And if we firmly believe in what we're about to start or we're about to release, then we push on, no matter what goes on, no matter what demographic is coming at us with the no, it's not going to work, the naysayers, those that will always try and prevent you and keep you in a box, will keep you in a place that they're comfortable with. And I've seen that so many times and heard about that, when someone rises up and they have an incredible opportunity to start something, they start to air their voice, they start to walk into their future, they start to progress forward, and it gets too noisy for some people. They can't cope with this person they've known for 15 years suddenly starting to rise up and starting to share and to speak their opinions on things, their passion for things, their voice against injustice, and they don't like it. It almost like shakes and stirs them, and they are fearful of change, or fearful of that person becoming someone that they're not happy with or they can control no longer. So I think I was on a broadcast yesterday and we were talking about the might that we have, the voice that we have, and the power that we have to change our future, change the future of others, and to walk into that purpose.
Yeah, and I believe that is really a key. Well, it's hard actually for me to believe otherwise. Like preparing for the future challenge that will start on Monday, which is all about owning your future.
Mm,
I think it is really, um, well, I believe and I know from the inside out that if I don't make the decisions, then no one makes the decisions in perspective to my future. Like,
yeah.
if I want to create the future that I have a preference for, then I need to speak up. So I need to change the conversation.
Mm,
So if the outside world seems to go one way, and as an entrepreneur, a creative, a leader, I think it should be the other way. I should just go the other way and show that it's beneficial.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, I've learned more than just following the rest. So going against the flow is actually the only way to get to the source, the well of the river.
Mm.
So you have to go sometimes against it, into it. And for now, I think it really makes sense if we start to make uh, it a priority to lead ourselves, not by social pressure, make decisions that we will regret in the future or
Yep.
not. We simply don't know why we're doing them right now, simply because it doesn't give the difficult conversation, or it's just what everyone else does. We
Yep.
teach our kids not to go that way through life, but we have to do it as well ourselves. We need to pioneer. And I believe that this global centralization, a bit camouflaged with human rights and social responsibility, we should take a stand in it. And so I'm not politically correct right now. I'm sorry about that. But we should take a stand for what we believe, what
Yep.
we sense that the future is, and should go after that one and pursue our preferred future, and pursue who we can become, and not put it away, put it on the shelf, delay
Yep.
it. Like you said, if you delay things, you will, in one way or the other, regret it. Sometimes you have a second chance. Sometimes the window of opportunity is just closing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that that happens so often though when people stop pursuing the future that they want. And I think we've got a unique opportunity. And I love the stories when what comes out of adversity, what came out of the Second War was jet flight, and people evolved through that World War. Yes, it was extremely adverse. Many people lost their lives, and the pandemic isn't too far away from what many have gone through with regards to world wars. And only good and innovation and creativity have come out of those times of hardship. And we're all in this unique place to do something rather special. And it's how long do we wait to start that? How long do we wait until the time is right, until we've got everything in place? And we had this dialogue with ourselves tomorrow or next week. Well, I'll do this when I have this, and I'll do this when I have that. And the fun thing about starting something new is failure. Failure is part of that, and we grow and learn so much more about ourselves and actually how better to do it when we fail, than rather never going out and doing it at all. And I think this is a great opportunity for people to pick up the things that they had put down prior to lockdown, prior to the pandemic, and start to run with them and with it and against the flow, as you say. You know, I love that picture of the salmon swimming up the stream against the flow of the river, to go back to their birthplace, to go back to their birthrights, to go back to the mouth of the river, the source of the water. And I think as we as human beings, we need to go against the flow, stop going with everyone else because it's easy and it's fast, and we just catch the wave and we catch the stream and we go with it. But it's taken us away from the mouth of the river. It's taken us away from our birthrights. And actually, our birthrights are that we are creative beings, that we have the ability to create, to start new things, and to build. We are builders, and we've been given hands, a brain, a mind, and everything to go out and build something new. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, and like you said, but it is so easy. So it could be just for some a wake up call that, like, be aware what setting you are in. Where did you place yourself? Like, is it a place where you just go with the flow? Or is it a place where you just feel tolerated, which means you don't have harsh conversations? Or
Mm.
is it a place where you're celebrated? Or are you just becoming more and more aware that you're not in the right place? You have to shift lane. You have to have another direction. And as a business owner, entrepreneur, creative, leader, pioneer, it is normal you go away a direction where you feel lonely. Not so many people going that direction. That is actually normal. It's not about being lonely at the top. No, it's being the first at the top when you're going to pioneer. And someone has to go there. So if life is getting too easy and you make the decisions out of comfort, or maybe even a more dirty word today, safety, then you could regret it quite soon. And again, not being politically correct, I hear a lot of government leaders say that for the sake of safety, we have to hand in a little bit of freedom. And as a futurist, I have to be aware a little bit of the short and the long term history. Never, never, never was freedom exchanged successfully for someone else and later handed back. It was always gone. Or we had to be set free through a war. And we have to be really careful in these days that if we as business owners and as people that want to do the new thing or want to find out what the next thing is, it will not help us if we just in the basic things let control go. Like no one of us wants to be controlled by other people, which only can be prevented if we have self-control, because there is no control vacuum. Now, you can only let control go if people have self-control. And they will only develop self-control when control is gone. So it's a chicken and an egg, but I think we need to take self-control. We are responsible for our future.
Yeah.
We are responsible for our legacy, the generations that are coming, our kids, our staff. We are responsibility, not any institute or outside party. So we have to flip the switch that we start living from outside or inside out instead of complying to the outside in, which will be uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah,
Sorry.
well, I don't watch the news a lot because first of all, it pollutes my brain.
It's
It's
just
like
a
it's just
bad,
one side
negative.
of the
Yeah, it's
story.
just noise.
It's noise with the intention to polarize,
Yeah,
and even on our end on the world because it's so one side of the story. But if we listen carefully, what currently the I would nearly say the people that are above the elected leadership that we choose through our democracies, what they are talking about, that's something we should not just let happen. For one simple reason: we live in freedom, we have democracy, so we elect people that we trust that could choose for us and talk about important things instead of us. And it's our role to keep them accountability. Like we should talk to them and ask them why they do certain things. Like in our nation, we had elections, we have no government. It's 6 months later. I don't see any fast parliament being created soon or cabinet or that's weird in an age where we live with such critical things. That's really, really weird. But there's no place to bring it to the table. There's no. It's emergency. It's a pandemic. Yeah, I know all the things, but just be real. It's the future that I have to create with my conversation. So I can start complaining. I can be the activist. I don't believe in those instruments because it's not appealing to listen to people that complain. Um, but I should do something. There should
Yeah.
be action connected to what I have faith for. There should be strategies for what I believe is the right way forward. And I think that defines a pioneer. That is someone who can put the faith he or she has into a strategy, manage themselves, take ownership of what's important, and be accountable to their own inner circle. And I think we are in a critical moment in our time and age, in our span of control as pioneers, that we really have to take action
Yeah.
and be informed and know what to say yes to and know what to say no to.
And be able to adapt when things don't go the way you'd want to. My eldest and I have started a business together with a view to buying property, and we have a vision to escalate this and have a portfolio of properties whereby we are landlords with a unique difference, where we want to create environments of excellence, environments of love, and homes where people can come and feel it's their home and not have that typical impression of a landlord who doesn't care, won't do the repairs on time, and it is always after a hike in the rates and rent, and it's all about income and generating income and get as much out you can of your tenants. We want to see homes of multiple occupancy, to those that are in need, those that have been cast aside, or those that don't have a home. We want to give back. We want to provide homes for the poor, homes for those that not just want to rent and want to lease as a better option than buying, those that need a roof over their heads. And we've stumbled on an issue where we can't raise the finances to start this off at the moment. We're looking at another way, and it'd be quite easy to say, well, we've exhausted everything. But we firmly believe what we've started and what we want to achieve is really in tune with, I have a faith and you have a faith. It's really in tune with God's plan for our lives. And this is just a stumbling block. Are we going to allow this obstacle to prevent us from moving forward? No, we're gonna go round it. We're gonna look to see what's on the left and the right. And we're gonna go round it if we have to. But we're gonna keep on moving forward and keep on hoping that we will get the funds that we need in order to lay that deposit to start the ball rolling on this venture. And I think there's so often we can allow the simple things, the obstructions, to stop us from pushing in and moving forward. And the government at the moment here are allowing fear to dictate their response to a situation, and they're trying to control everything and the outcome of everything. And that really can prohibit you if you allow fear to govern and control what you do. It will restrict you. It will capsize your dreams, and you won't be able to sail off into that future that you have planned for. And that for me is an example of, well, let's find a way through this. A pioneer will find a way through whatever whether it's crossing a river, crossing a mountain range, whatever it might be, to get to the pastures, to get to the other land. They will find a way through. It might take a little longer. It might take a while. It may take a detour, but they'll find a way through to that place, and they will not give up. They will not be deterred by what's in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's a great example. And what I've noticed is that many people were helped by changing the word adapt to the word adjust. Because there is such a strong business culture out there that actually says we have to adapt to the ever-changing world, like the whole VUCA movement and all the things, like everything. But then I always suggest you cannot change your direction based on or led by the circumstances. It's like it's about you changing your actions despite the circumstances to achieve your goals, because your goals are connected as milestones to where you have faith for, where you want to go. And it's the whole system that puts so much pressure. And again, that's the outside in instead of the inside out. Puts so much pressure on At school, you don't get the right grades. Maybe you have to change your future perspective. Uh, where did that come from? Why should I let my dreams fall apart when my grades are not good enough?
Yeah.
First of all, could be temporarily. Second of all, it could be that the strategy needs to be adjusted because I need to find another route to get to where I want to be. But everything around us screams like, just let your dreams go, let your goals go. It's not going
Mm,
to work. We have a pandemic. I said from the start in the pandemic, nothing in my life for the future has changed through the pandemic. Probably something on the short term are really big time delayed.
yeah.
And I need to define new actions and I need to have other strategies, but I still know where I want to go. And the first future challenge we did, most people had never put time aside to define their perspective.
Mm,
And if you don't know that dot on the horizon, then you cannot adjust. You cannot define new ways. You cannot define new strategies. And I think that's a pity.
mm, yeah.
So you have a
I,
vision, you have
yeah,
a
absolutely.
voice, you have
Absolutely.
value. Take it serious. Go after it.
Yeah, and I just want to I just want to endorse your future challenge next week, the 5 day challenge, because when I did it, I didn't know what to expect, but ultimately it brought me out of my comfort zone, and I started to challenge myself in ways that I'd never been challenged before, using creative tools creatively in a different way, using literature, poetry, using sound, whatever it might be, in order to express what I wanted to achieve and what I wanted to go after. And it was revolutionary for me. It was an epiphany moment. It was breakthrough. And I would firmly recommend anyone watching this or watching the replay in time for next week is to sign up, because I think it really does help you map out your future, your preferred future. It gives you the tools, it gives you the peers to work alongside who are pushing for the same thing. And with that mastermind of a group of men and women that want their future, want their preferred future, it's an incredible eye-opening experience. So I just want to encourage folk to jump on and get in touch with you via the website, thefuturechallenge.com. It's brilliant.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, it's only 25 minutes before we launch the challenge. So I definitely have to get technology working by then. I'm sorry
Absolutely.
for the people that were disappointed that we didn't go live on the moment we planned to. But yes, thanks for that endorsement. It is like that's comes from the inside out. I think everyone deserves to develop the skills to
Mm,
take control of their own life, their own future, to use all the creativeness inside of them, their imagination, to for good, to actually lead themselves. And we all have those famous quotes: "If you don't live your dream, then you will live someone else's dream." And we all
yeah.
know them, and it is true. But it's my desire to equip people to refresh it and update it on a frequent base. So this
Mm,
time we will talk about what it takes to steward your future perspective, which is all
yeah,
about
absolutely.
self-leadership, emotional and spiritual intelligence, that are actually connected. Like if we flip it, that we are led by our own inner voice, our own spirit, that means that our emotions should align and that we should use it really intelligently. So we're going to explore that the coming days, and everyone is still invited, still seats open, and still VIP passes available for those who really want the live interaction with peers, with me, ask the right questions. You can do it by chat afterwards, but it's much more fruitful when we do it in the moment together. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited about that, but also excited about how do we pioneer, how do we take control, how do we, I would really say, how do we decentralize leadership, ownership, back to the individual who needs to be responsible for their own life. So
Yeah,
let's
it's to reclaim that. It's become powerful people and to be full of power, isn't it? It's to know our rightful place in society.
Yeah, we love to talk about empowering people, and then we are surprised that we can't handle powerful people.
Yeah,
Maybe the two have to do something for another chat.
absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to next month's broadcast. And,
Likewise, my friend.
Grant, all the best.
You too.
And speak to you soon. And everyone will listen, connect with us, connect with peers, and keep going after finding the right conversation to create your future.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye.